magazine of the screen, produced by Warner Pathé News. Living glimpses of history in the making, presented as a public service and as a special service to Wisconsin schools by Wisconsin's largest bank, the First Wisconsin National Bank of Milwaukee, established in 1853.
From Washington in his personal plane, President Truman makes a sweeping survey tour over the Mississippi and Missouri flood areas to get a first-hand view of the damage done in the latest floods to hit the Midwest. Scenes like this have caused the president to renew his demands for drastic flood controls of America's untamed river valleys. The violently swirling waters have forced the evacuation of over 125,000 people in 9 states. Army engineers plot the progress of the flood's crest. Ghost towns expectantly await the worst. Many people are flown out to Red Cross centers. Using dirt-filled trucks and heavy road equipment, Army troops and civilian volunteers make a desperate effort to reinforce dikes and levees. The rampaging waters are reported reaching crests 4 and 5 feet above the highest defenses, and for a while it seems that many communities will be engulfed. But cities like Council Bluffs and Omaha and many others, although suffering damage, hold off the river. The nation rushes aid as losses run to millions in a crucial season for America's farmers. Off Hawaii, the USS Pickerel, a guppy snorkel sub, prepares to test its power and toughness. It'll plunge down 150 feet to gain momentum for the greatest leap ever made by a sub. The 70 crewmen said they weren't hurt during the leap. They just held on tight. A tidal wave rushes up France's Seine River. Caused by heavy spring tides, it occurs annually. The French call it the Mascarade. Though racing at 30 miles an hour, the Mascarade does no damage, but always punctual, it's a sure sign that spring has come to France. China, the Reds take a hammering. General Dolenars, French theater commander, sees his flyers blast the enemy with napalm bombs. With French and loyal Vietnam forces disorganized after the death of the dynamic General de Lattre, the Reds made substantial penetrations into Allied territory. But now counterattacks have pushed the enemy back and have taken nearly 5,000 new communist prisoners in this 6-year-old, $3 million a day war. As in all war, the most pathetic victims are the civilians, like this old man who greets us politely, then passes on. Across this narrow strait of water from Japan's Hokkaido Island is a powerful garrison of Russian troops holding Sakhalin, once Japanese territory. General Harrell's combat-hardened U.S. 1st Division is stationed here on Hokkaido. These films have only been released for the Army, and they show how American soldiers in Japan, under the recently ratified peace treaty, guard a little-known world danger spot. Patrols constantly crisscross Hokkaido, for the Russians are within gunshot. But it's not all hard work. Some of the men of the division, though excellent ski troops, show a few ski pranks not in the manual of arms. 700 miles away from the U.S. garrison on Hokkaido, the battleship Wisconsin and the cruiser Manchester go into action in an area where the Cold War has become a shooting war. They're on their way through heavy seas to blast communist supply lines in Korea to keep the enemy from building up strength during peace talks.
Italy, as in most European countries, bread is truly the staff of life. Where meat is scarce and expensive, bread becomes the most vital of foods. So important, in fact, is bread in Italy's life that a bread museum has been built in Rome, housing one of the world's oddest collections, breads of every kind from every country in the world. Man has been baking bread since the Stone Age, and since then it has assumed thousands of different forms. These loaves look like flowers with broad petals, and here is an assortment of Spanish bread. This Chilean bread is baked by methods used before Columbus. The variety of designs is almost limitless. These Argentine loaves are braided like hair, and here are some examples of the Italian baker's imagination. Often cookies are baked in unusual forms for feast days. Sardinia uses sea designs, producing delicate shell-like breads. But whatever the shape, the proof's in the eating.
In 1946, this spinning pickle jar whirled the hopes and aspirations of 1,300 veterans of World War II. The place is Klamath Falls, Oregon, where former servicemen and their families tensely wait as a drawing is held for the first public land grant since the war ended. The first number is called. Another of the lucky ones is an ex-Air Force captain, Dale Sprout, who wins a homestead. Earth, which once lay underwater in California's Tule Lake, now drained for farmland. 6 years later, it's obvious that America has invested wisely in young farmer Sprout and the ex-servicemen like him. For now, the Sprouts are members of a strong new community of modern pioneers who are helping strengthen America. Unlike the pioneers of the last century, the Sprouts have many advantages, and they're thankful for them. Because in a well-built house with adequate leisure, they can live and work as better farmers and better Americans. Calves have just joined the Sprouts' growing herd of cattle. These are 2 weeks old. They'll be fattened for market on the rich land the Sprouts have won, but first they provide some roping practice for 6-year-old Larry. Chores like the family washing, which gets to be considerable on a farm, are still present. But the key to the new pioneer's success with the land is the tractor and the equipment it pulls. With it, Sprout can work much of his rich, fertile land almost alone. For ex-airman Dale Sprout and his family, it's a full, good life on a piece of the America for which he fought overseas. On Park Avenue, New York City provides a contrast to the Sprouts' down-to-earth farm life. 24 stories of glass and stainless steel. The problem of washing this new skyscraper's 1,400 windows was solved by this remarkable invention. Suspended from a mobile power plant running on railroad tracks around the building's top, an electric elevator travels up and down the sides. Steel cables raise and lower the elevator, which moves on its own tracks on the wall. The building is completely air-conditioned by these gigantic cooling units. All windows are permanently sealed, thus saving on original building costs and on later heating and cleaning costs. The blue heat-refracting windows can be cleaned from the gondola on which we're now riding in 6 days by only 2 washers. The building is the headquarters of a soap manufacturer who has a natural interest in keeping things clean. This is probably the first time a window washer was envied by someone sitting in an office. Towering high above the city's traffic, this shining skyscraper of tomorrow points to new directions in modern living.
In the Cold War against the Communists, the United States commissions the Coast Guard cutter Courier as its first seagoing radio transmitter. Designed to send Voice of America broadcasts deep behind the Iron Curtain, The courier can move about freely to avoid red interference of its programs. Its transmitters are the most powerful ever installed aboard ship. The biggest is 3 times as effective as the largest American broadcasting station. Some special programs will be sent directly from the ship, as is being shown here, but most of them will be relayed from the United States or from other broadcasting stations abroad. Transcriptions will also be used. The turntable floats on a gyroscope and operates smoothly even in rough waters. In the battle against communism, the courier, a ship without guns, goes into battle armed with the greatest weapon of all, truth. In Texas, staff officers plot an attack that will encircle aggressor forces. Tanks go into action in Operation Longhorn, the biggest war games ever held in the United States. 115,000 men are taking part, including troops of a specially trained, rapidly striking force impersonating an enemy. Now, in one of the largest paratroop operations ever staged, the entire 82nd Airborne Division will hit the silk to join the vast mock battles raging below. One after another, the men step out into space in beautiful precision. Quickly down, and now their supplies and equipment, tons and tons of it, from chewing gum and field rations to jeeps, trucks, and heavy guns and tanks come floating after them. Every drop like this is checked by referees who will later evaluate the efficiency and behavior of the men in action. Accidents happen. The fury of battle increases. The attack is a success. Operation Longhorn comes to a close after 16 days of maneuvers under battle conditions.
For 900 years, the village of Tignes, high in the French Alps, had lived in peace. Its people were small farmers and cattle holders and innkeepers. Then, 11 years ago, the government decided to harness the mountain streams with a power dam to bring long-needed electricity to the entire area. Slowly, the dam was planned and built. The people of Tignes, in their ancient village, ignored it. One day the news came that the valley would be flooded. Tignes must be evacuated. The news is astonishing. The people talk and talk. Yes, there must be a dam, but let them build it in some other valley. Why, our families have lived in these same houses for hundreds of years. How can we move now? But the dam is completed. Already some of the floodgates have been closed, and the water is slowly rising in the valley. Water which will soon be producing electricity to help other villages, to electrify farms, to start factories, to bring prosperity to the whole countryside. The fine old bells in the church are taken down, the bells that tolled for weddings and funerals, that announced the fateful days of war and peace. This sacred picture smiled down at villagers at worship. The archives are removed from the town hall, and its aged stones are pulled apart to be used somewhere else. The ancient cemetery with its silent dead is evacuated. The living, too, as the water already pushes its muddy fingers into Tignes, begin to move. They'll be reimbursed by the government for their losses, and somewhere another Tignes will grow. The remaining floodgates are closed. The water begins to mount rapidly in the valley, drowning the silent town. Now only the roving, relentless, precise eye of the camera will preserve what mind and memory will soon recall only dimly in the new team. But life will begin again for the people of the vanished village. Holland, this huge cavern serves as a theater to which crowds come each year for a festival of the ballet. For 70 years, the cave has been used as a natural stage with wings, proscenium, and audience space of solid rock. Now, their shadows preceding them, some young dancers appear. Is wherever human beings perform for the delight of others. In Japan, in the village of Yokono, is an ancient yet highly modern theater. The sides drop down as the theater, built 133 years ago, is open for a performance, and a revolving stage, the first ever built anywhere, is revealed. Manpower runs the mechanism of the stage, invented by a village carpenter 77 years before such a device existed anywhere in the Western world. As does its American counterpart, this revolving stage permits rapid scene changes. The plays produced are mainly Japanese classics, far older than this theater itself, and sometimes 20,000 people attend them. The stage can also be raised and lowered to suit the demands of the play. However, there is no electric or hydraulic power, but only human strength to do the job. The ancient dramas enacted here are of a formal, highly conventionalized nature and are almost meaningless to Westerners, but the Japanese audience finds every moment of them enthralling. Instead of a curtain falling, the stage turns at the end of the play, leaving a blank wall. To us, it's almost an innovation, this century-old Japanese contribution to the theater, the oldest of the arts. Spain shows us another kind of theater, a Madrid puppet show. Puppets and marionettes have been popular in Spain for many centuries. Violence is a tradition of this form of entertainment, but the audience, as you will see, is accustomed to it and takes completely in its stride the violent climax of the farce. A bomb, disguised as a piece of candy, is pushed on stage. Though you may not follow the Spanish, I think you'll understand the plot.
¡Uy, qué rica! Una bolsita de caramelos. ¿Cómo? Que no es de caramelos. Uy, ya lo creo, y qué rica va a estar. Me la como. A la una, a las dos y a las tres. ¡Ah!
¡Wow! ¿Cómo? No. Bueno, la tantearé con mi lengüeta mágica. Vamos a ver. ¡Qué bárbaro!
The emotions of the audience, excitement, fear, pity, laughter, are the reasons for the existence of every theater, large or small. The White House, home of American presidents, symbolizes the nation's development and growth. For like the nation, it has undergone many changes. When John Adams, first presidential occupant, moved in 1800, the building had not yet been completed. British troops burned down the White House while President Madison was living there in 1814 during the War of 1812. By 1817, it had been rebuilt to receive President James Monroe, and for the first time it was painted white. The White House had grown considerably by 1845 when President Polk moved in. The distinctive north and south porticos had been added. Washington was growing up around the White House when James Garfield came in 1881, and the executive mansion was the center of a busy city. Now let's put away our book and look at the modern White House. 4 years ago, a survey revealed that the building was in such disrepair as to be dangerous for occupants. Congress appropriated nearly $7 million for an extensive reconstruction program. No fundamental changes were to be made, and each piece of woodwork or stone was numbered, so that when it was returned to the reinforced, rebuilt interior, it would be sure to go back to the place from which it was taken. This cornerstone marks another rebuilding under Theodore Roosevelt in 1902. The building was first begun in 1792. Originally, this presidential seal was on the entrance floor. Here is the rebuilt White House today. As every American citizen may, let's go in and look around. John Mays, 80 years old, who has been on the White House staff 43 years, ushers us into the main hall. This great corridor looks much as it did when the White House was the only government building in the little federal city of Washington. The presidential seal, on which so many famous feet walked, is now moved to a place above the entrance to the Blue Room. The elaborate interior of this famous room, in which foreign diplomats present their credentials, was removed so the walls could be strengthened, then put back in place again. Illumination is provided by crystal chandeliers. The Blue Room is also used by the President to receive guests to state dinners. The Great East Room, another of the rooms open to the public, was intended originally as a ballroom, though rarely used for that purpose in modern times. The concert grand piano is of mahogany, decorated with bas-reliefs in gold, which depict a number of typical scenes of American life. Stuart's portrait of George Washington hangs in the East Room. Its history is romantic. Dolly Madison saved the picture from the burning White House in 1814. Near it hangs Martha Washington's portrait. The Green Room, with walls and curtains of green silk damask, is used by the President for smaller, informal receptions. The mantelpiece was imported from England in 1815. In the center of the great Aubusson rug has been woven the presidential seal. The Red Room, with red silk damask walls and curtains, is used by the First Lady for receiving guests by appointment and contains this Woodrow Wilson portrait. The State Dining Room is for all large dinners and luncheons. From ceiling to floor, the walls are carved and paneled. The 16th President, Abraham Lincoln, looks down pensively over the big table of dark, gleaming mahogany. This stairway from ground floor to the second is part of the new construction and leads us to the President's study. The White House, remember, is the President's office as well as his residence. The top floor solarium of blue-green glass is an innovation installed during the latest rebuilding of the White House. We are downstairs again in the hall leading out into the gardens. The White House was originally called the President's Palace, but its official name is now simply the White House. That simplicity, despite the building's magnificence, is in key, for the White House is no one man's property. It belongs to the American people.